All right, so let's get into this whole idea of luck. This deep dive was your pick, and I know you're fascinated by Shohei Ohtani, and yeah, who isn't, right?
Yeah, it's hard not to be amazed by him.
It really is. I mean, you see this guy, and he just seems to be defying the odds on a daily basis, and it's so easy to just say, oh, he's just lucky. But I have a feeling it's more complicated than that.
Definitely.
And luckily, we have a fantastic guide for this exploration. The writings of Teru Nakashima, this Japanese self-help guru, has some really interesting things to say about luck, and particularly about how Ohtani might be shaping his own good fortune.
Yeah, he's not just passively waiting for it to happen. It's like he's actively cultivating it.
Okay, so less like finding a four-leaf clover and more like I don't know, tending a garden or something.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. So Nakashima breaks down Ohtani's luck into 3 key traits, almost like essential ingredients for success. The first one is this idea of awareness of luck.
Right. It's like Ohtani recognizes that luck plays a role in his life. He's not just brushing it off.
So instead of saying, aw shucks, I just got lucky, he's actually acknowledging it and appreciating it.
Exactly.
Interesting. And then the second trait Nakashima highlights is Ohtani's incredibly positive mindset, even when things go wrong.
Yeah, think about that time he was sidelined with an injury.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Most players would be devastated.
Yeah.
But Nakashima points out that Ohtani focused on his recovery and getting back on the field.
He didn't let it get him down.
Not at all. He just kept his eyes on the prize.
So it's like that positive energy fueled his comeback.
Yeah.
And maybe even attracted more lucky breaks along the way. Who knows?
It's definitely possible.
But there's a third piece to this puzzle, right? Because Ohtani's not just this super optimistic machine. He's also got something else going on.
You're talking about his humility.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He's known for being down to earth and respectful to everyone. Nakashima even tells this story about Ohtani picking up trash after a game.
He's just a genuinely good guy.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
So these little acts of kindness, according to Nakashima, actually contribute to attracting good fortune.
That's the idea. It's not about grand gestures. It's about cultivating that attitude of respect and generosity.
Wow. Okay, so we've got awareness of luck, a positive mindset, and humility. Nakashima uses these 3 things to explain Ohtani's success, and it's a pretty compelling argument. But how does this connect to Nakashima's broader philosophy on luck? Because it can't just be about this one baseball superstar, right?
You're right. He sees this as a universal principle.
So what's the bigger picture here?
Well, Nakashima argues that luck isn't some mystical force outside of our control. He actually thinks of it as a kind of formula. Our emotions influence our actions, and those actions determine our outcomes.
So it's not just random chance?
No, not according to him. And he believes there's a particularly powerful emotion that kickstarts this whole process. Gratitude.
Gratitude. Everyone's talking about gratitude these days. But what makes it so special in Nakashima's view?
He uses a really vivid analogy to illustrate his power. He asks you to imagine 2 people eating at a budget-friendly restaurant.
Okay, I'm picturing...
One diner is complaining about everything. The food, the portions, the service, the whole experience.
Sounds pretty miserable.
Yeah. But the other diner is expressing gratitude. They're thankful for the affordable meal, the friendly staff, the convenience.
Same situation, different perspective.
Exactly. And Nakashima uses this to show how our perspective shapes our experience. The grateful diner chooses to focus on the positive.
And that gratitude sets the stage for more good fortune.
That's what he believes.
It's fascinating. It makes you wonder if we're always complaining and focusing on the negative. Are we actually pushing luck away? Could we be blocking those opportunities without even realizing it?
It's definitely something to think about.
So if we're trying to apply this Ohtani school of luck to our own lives, gratitude is the starting point.
Definitely. But it's not enough to just feel thankful. We have to put it into action.
So it's about more than just having a good attitude.
Exactly. It's about cultivating an inner state that attracts good fortune. And then taking action from that place.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these pieces fit together. We can't just sit around waiting for a lucky break. We need to be actively creating that luck-friendly environment, both internally and externally.
Yeah.
This is really making me think. So we've got awareness, positivity, humility, and gratitude. What else does Nakashima have up his sleeve? What other principles does he highlight?
Well, he also talks a lot about self-belief and decisive action, which might surprise you. They tie into luck in some pretty interesting ways. Nakashima, you see, he really believes in trusting your gut and making quick decisions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He actually sees hesitation and overthinking as these roadblocks to opportunity.
That's interesting because I always thought of lucky people as being in the right place at the right time, not necessarily as, decisive go-getters.
I know, right?
Maybe.
But think about it. When you make a decision quickly, especially if it's based on your intuition, you create this momentum.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And that momentum can sometimes lead you down these paths that you totally didn't expect.
Mhm.
And it can open up possibilities that might seem like lucky breaks.
So it's almost like you're catching a wave at just the right moment. And if you hesitate for too long, you miss it.
Exactly. It's not about being reckless or anything. But Nakashima thinks that overanalyzing can really hold you back.
It can paralyze you.
Yeah, and prevent you from seizing those moments when luck is like right there knocking on your door.
So there's a certain boldness to it, this willingness to trust yourself and just take that leap of faith.
For sure.
It reminds me of those entrepreneurs who seem to have this knack for spotting the next big thing before anyone else. Like, do you think that's connected to this idea of decisive action?
Absolutely. They often have a strong sense of intuition and the confidence to act on it quickly. They don't waste time second-guessing themselves.
So it's not just about being in the right place at the right time. It's about recognizing the opportunity when it arises and having the guts to go for it.
You got it.
But what about self-belief? Where does that fit into all of this?
Well, for Nakashima, self-belief is super important. He sees it as a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you're lucky, you're more likely to see yourself that way. And that can affect how you act and what happens to you.
So you're priming your mind to spot those lucky breaks and attract good fortune.
Right.
But how do we cultivate that self-belief, especially if we haven't always thought of ourselves as being particularly lucky?
Well, Nakashima has a pretty simple but powerful suggestion.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
He says you should start each day by saying out loud, "Today is the luckiest day."
He really says that.
He does. It might sound a little corny at first, but the idea is that by repeating this affirmation, you're kind of programming your mind to be on the lookout for good fortune.
So it's like setting an intention for the day, a luck magnet.
Exactly. And even if you don't fully believe it in the beginning, the act of saying it can start to change how you see things.
I can see how that would work. If you're constantly looking for evidence of good fortune, you're much more likely to find it.
Precisely. It's about training your mind to focus on the positive and to notice those lucky breaks that you might have otherwise missed.
So instead of dwelling on what's going wrong, we're actively looking for what's going right.
That's a key.
That's a pretty huge shift in perspective. But let's bring it back to Ohtani for a second.
Okay.
Do you think his success is a result of him consciously using these principles, or is it just something that comes naturally to him?
It's hard to say for sure, but based on Nakashima's analysis, it definitely seems possible. He really embodies these qualities of awareness, positivity, humility, gratitude, decisiveness, and self-belief. It's like he's surrounded by this aura of good fortune.
Like he's mastered the art of attracting luck. But what does this all mean for the rest of us, the non-baseball superstar listeners? Can we really learn to be lucky like Shohei Ohtani?
I think so. The important thing is that luck isn't some magical force that we have no control over. It's something that we can cultivate through our thoughts, our actions, and our beliefs. And by understanding these principles and trying to apply them to our own lives, I think we can definitely increase our chances of experiencing those lucky breaks.
It all comes back to mindset, right? If we believe we're lucky, we're more likely to spot those opportunities and take those chances.
Exactly. And the more we practice gratitude, the more we strengthen that lucky mindset. It's a self-perpetuating cycle.
So it's not about winning the lottery or finding a four-leaf clover. It's about creating this internal state of readiness for good fortune.
That's it. It's about creating the right conditions for luck to thrive.
Okay, I'm on board. But let's get down to brass tacks. What's one small thing that our listeners can do today to put this Ohtani school of luck into practice?
Well, they could start by trying out Nakashima's lucky day affirmation. Just waking up and saying out loud, "Today is the luckiest day." I know it sounds kind of silly, but it can really have an impact on how you see the world.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a simple but powerful practice. Maybe our listeners are already into the whole gratitude journal thing. Would Nakashima approve?
He'd love it. That's a fantastic way to cultivate gratitude. Just taking a few minutes each day to write down a few things you're grateful for can make a huge difference.
So just to sum it all up, luck isn't just random chance. We can actually learn to cultivate it through gratitude, positive action, and believing in our own good fortune.
Exactly. And just like Shohei Ohtani, we can all become masters of our own luck.
Well said. That's a great place to wrap things up. Thank you so much for diving deep with us today. And to our listeners, until next time, stay lucky. It all comes back to mindset, doesn't it? If we believe we're lucky, We're more likely to spot those lucky breaks and seize those opportunities.
Precisely. And the more we practice gratitude, the more we reinforce that lucky mindset. It becomes like this self-perpetuating cycle.
So it's not about winning the lottery or finding a four-leaf clover. It's about creating this inner state of readiness for good fortune.
Exactly. It's about creating the right conditions for luck to thrive.
Okay, I'm sold, but let's get practical. What's one small action our listeners can take today to put this Ohtani School of Luck into practice?
Well, they could try Nakashima's lucky day affirmation. Just waking up and saying, today is the luckiest day. It sounds kind of silly, but it can really change your perspective.
I can see that. It's simple but powerful. Maybe our listener's already a gratitude journal kind of person. Would Nakashima approve of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great way to cultivate gratitude. Just taking a few minutes every day to write down some things you're thankful for can make a huge difference.
So to recap, luck isn't just some random force. We can actually cultivate it through gratitude, positive action, and believing in our own good fortune, just like Shohei Ohtani.
And here's a final thought-provoking question for our listeners to ponder. If we start viewing ourselves as inherently lucky, how might that change the choices we make and the opportunities we see in the world around us?
That's a great question, something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today. Until next time, stay lucky.